thump and bangles jangle as senior Mahika Pandit carefully rehearses the steps of her Bhangra routine. Days away from performing in front of a live audience, a rush of excitement seeps into her bones as she waits for the music to start. As co-president of MV's Indian American Student Association, this year is Pandit's third and final time participating in the IASA's annual showcase, Spotlite on India. Spotlite on India is a series of dances, songs, and skits that highlight aspects of Indian culture, giving students an opportunity to express their heritage and cultural identity. This year was Spotlite on India's 18th showcase, and it was hosted in the auditorium on April 3rd from 7 to 9 p.m. While students, parents, and staff alike clamor to see the show every year, many are unaware of the immense work performers and members of the IASA put into the showcase's development and production. Pandit explains that the planning process begins as early as November, where students delegate and begin to work on accomplishing a wide variety of tasks, including ordering food, announcing deadlines and updates to performers, and ensuring progress on the skit. A large part of Pandit's role consists of making sure the acts, the main focus of the show, are proactive in meeting deadlines in order to avoid last-minute stress.
Again, we have really soft deadlines that start in December. And it can be hey, you have this 1 minute deadline of your act, but you can push it until January if you need. And so there's no last minute dropouts or someone who feels it's a very big burden to put on their shoulders.
This timeline helps ensure that everyone is well organized on show day, something Pandit noticed was difficult to pull off during her sophomore year due to procrastination. Pandit has put extra focus on ensuring that last-minute jitters are attributed to student excitement and not because of a lack of preparation.
And we finished our rehearsal and we were oh my god, we are cooked. That's just kind of we were this show cannot be put on Friday. But I think the show went fine. Everyone think it went great. We sold out. It's a good show. But we don't want to have that stress again this year, right? And I think for me now, it's a lot about we're on the auditorium right now, preparing and going on stage to make sure everyone knows their marks. What is the blocking that we're supposed to have?
Furthermore, the timeline is also important for those participating in the MC skit because it requires a decent amount of time to be brainstormed, written, and memorized. While preparations might take several months, the payoff is a production that is completely student-developed, directed, and produced, highlighting Spotlite on India's originality.
We always choose to do a very original MC skit, so that we never repeat ideas, and every what do you call it, script line? Yeah. Something, line, yeah. Whatever is written by us. There is very little to very none teacher or parent involvement at all. The most help we get is from Miss Mandak or Miss Bana setting up the auditorium or getting Miss Gold to help us rent out the studio in the auditorium in the black box. That is the most help we get. Everything from acts to food to lighting to decor is done solely by Monte Vista kids. Even setting up the day before or the night of, it's all done by us.
Although being a student-run showcase is a high point of prestige for Spotlite on India, relying on busy high schoolers has its downsides. Senior and ISA Vice President Suhana Pathak noted that many underclassmen were not aware of the show's existence due to its cancellation last year, and the ISA received low participant turnout this year as a result.
It was really hard to get people on board because, the sophomores don't know what it's like. The freshmen, don't really know what it's like, right? They kind of hear about it, so our advertisement was a little difficult to get up.
While last year's cancellation held a significant impact on turnout, freshman and skit actor Pranshu Jha feels that low participation can also be attributed to many MV students simply not knowing about Spotlite on India or the ISA in general, regardless of last year's cancellation.
Even though the turnout on the day of was pretty great, when we were trying to get people to join, a lot of people were really confused as to what Spotlite even was. And I think for me that was the most shocking part because, even on the Monte Vista website, Spotlite is one of the big events, and the ISA works all year to host Spotlite. So for someone like me who was hearing about it all year and was so prepared for it, getting to see these people that were what even is that was really shocking for me.
Obliviousness to the ISA's existence has led to not only a lack of knowledge about the work that goes into Spotlite on India, but also a lack of recognition for the impact it makes. Pundit says that something many people do not know is that the ISA donates 100% of proceedings to Ekal Vidyalaya, a non-profit in the US and India that funds the building of villages and educational initiatives in rural India. Proceeds from the 2024 Spotlight on India event resulted in donations of around $3,000 and funded 11 villages, something the ISA takes great pride in and hopes to continue.
I think maybe people don't know the impact that ticket has. We do mention it very briefly before our show. We always have a rep from Ekal come to our shows so they can see what we do behind the scenes to get the funding that they have. But I would say that maybe it's not the most known part of the club.
Yet, while a lot of the work and effects of Spotlight on India go unnoticed, the ISA still aims to use their time on stage to make as much of an impact as possible through vibrant showcases of Indian culture, such as through dance, song, and the skit the ISA creates to introduce each act. Every year, the skit is typically centered around either Hollywood or Bollywood pop culture, with this year's skit revolving around the rumored feud between two popular Indian talk show hosts, Karan Johar and Kapil Sharma. Pathak explains that creating a skit that appeals to both older and younger generations of Indian Americans is highly important because of how rewarding it feels to connect to each person in the audience and, furthermore, the larger Indian community.
I think the most rewarding part is actually on stage, at the end when you're staring at the audience, and it's a lot of Indian moms and dads and grandmas, and they're all there and they're smiling because they're so happy that even though they're in this country, their children are still trying to stay connected and still trying to do this really fun thing and dancing, singing. I just think that experience is really beautiful.
The attention and celebration that Spotlight on India brings to Indian culture is something that Jha finds incredibly important to celebrate, especially amidst the recent rise in anti-Indian racism. The Center for the Study of Organized Hate's recordings of nearly 2,700 posts promoting racism against Indians on X in October 2025 alone reveal its surge in prevalence in the past few years. Jha finds that now more than ever, it is time to take pride in Indian heritage and traditions.
Many media trends such as the Scandinavian scarf targets Indian fashion, Indian culture, and we just wanted to uplift the people around us and again I kind of mentioned spread awareness this came from India and Indian people are beautiful, even though the media might always portray India as a clean country.
After being involved with the ISA for all 4 years of high school, Pandit highlights how grateful she is for all the friends she made through the club and how learning about practices in the various regions of India strengthened the bond between her and her Indian heritage.
I have always been very connected to my culture. I love going to India. I speak pretty much always the Indian languages when I'm at home. But I think that my connection to just being around the environment of all these people who either are close to it already or want to become closer, it's fun because there's no judgment at all. You could be from any part of India. India is very diverse, and you can talk about your culture, talk about your language. I learn a little bit without having to be an actual lesson. I think that's the biggest part of it. People's culture.
Pathak agrees that the event allows the Indian community a space to connect not only to the traditions but to the rich pop culture in India.
I was able to connect with Bollywood pop culture a lot more. I learned a lot more about the drama, the gossip, the movies, all that kind of stuff. Other than that, just making jokes that only Indian people would get, that kind of stuff. I find that really rewarding, and it just cracks me up harder than some inside American joke.
Through every joke, meeting, and late-night work session, Pandit notes that although Spotlight on India has community appeal, the production is first and foremost meant for the students participating in it to enjoy. While she hopes that the audience appreciates the show as much as the students do, Pandit maintains that she wants each student to have a good time and for the ISA to grow as a community.
There's going to be slight imperfections, there are going to be some slight mess-ups, but it's not a professional thing, it's the fun thing, and we are here to showcase culture, not it's going to be as perfect as we can get it. We have that goal, but we're here to have a good time. And I think that noting that, this is a fun environment. This is a place to have fun, not to be judgmental, but to be open, and just that's the end goal. So come in with a very open mind, have fun, leave your troubles at the door, and just walk in. It'll be a good time.
You are not ready for this. Woo!